and where we're located. And just this quick map, there's some dots on here which maybe you can't see, but we do work with businesses down in Mexico and Canada, Tennessee, Georgia, a lot in Grand Rapids. We don't have a lot of customers in Muskegon because we build dies that make these, stamping dies that make these parts, and then we ship those to our customers. So we don't run any production within our plants. But a lot of skilled tool and die makers, machinists, CAD operators, CNC machinists that we trained at Northern Machine Tool. Probably over the last 20 years, we've trained close to about 18 apprentices in our plant, and right now we have 32 employees. So we take great pride in not just employing people, but training people as they get out of high school and go to community college or other schools. This just shows you where Northern Machine is. We're on Henry Street between Seaway Drive near Benton Chevrolet. My father started that at that location in 1951. And one thing we always take great pride in, this has nothing to do with the manufacturing side, we want to be good citizens in our community. And if you would take a ride around Northern Machine Tool, here you're looking at it from Henry Street, we take great pride in taking good care of the grounds around our company. Another view of the building, very well, I'm happy to say once again, very well landscaped around the company. Here's a picture of my father, Gary Olson. This is an article that the Community Foundation did on him a few years back. He did pass away 2 years ago. But the interesting here, him like many other people, if you read this article, he had 3 tragedies in his life. His house burnt down when he was 9 years old. His mother died when he was 11 years old, and his father died when he was 13 years old. Lots of obstacles, but he never let those obstacles get in his way of getting where he got in life. And never looked back as those bad things happening, just challenges that he had in his life. That's a picture, a friend of mine did that. A picture of myself and our father in the middle and my brother, who's a partner with me in the business on the right. So current owners are my brother Dan and myself. 34 employees, and most employees have an associate's degree at MCC, and I think that's important to point out. Without that apprenticeship program that we have, and having a school like MCC, Baker College, our Career Tech Center, businesses like ours and ourselves, we would really struggle in having an opportunity to train current and future employees. So I guess I can't overemphasize enough how the county and government needs to make sure that any efforts you can make to keep these programs alive will keep a lot of us small businesses growing, because we're too small to do our own in-house training. We need to go outside and have formal training in these institutions, who, by the way, do a very, very good job. As I said in the beginning, we do a lot of work for automotive, aerospace, and furniture business. We're also a member of what's called the Whitehall Township Tooling Coalition. We have 8 different tooling companies. This is something that was put together in, I think, 2005 by the state of Michigan, where those companies like ours, they wanted to see us survive and not disappear. So we're able to form coalitions, and by forming coalitions and following the bylaws and the guidelines of these coalitions, we're able to get some tax incentives from the state of Michigan, which is a 12-year sunset clause on those. Which, once again, in these, I think my father would turn over in his grave when you're doing collaborating with your competitor, but that's the way it is today, and it does work very well, sharing physical resources, human resources, and technology. Because if you look at, and who knows better than the county when you're struggling for funds and trying to meet everybody's demand for necessities out there, but we struggled with from 2008 through 2010, it was a depression in our industry. And if you look at Western Michigan, we probably lost 30% of the companies that are just like ours. We're just fortunate enough to survive. Here's a special, just inside our plant, here's like a special machine that we build. So we build tooling and special machine, and it'd be hard to I'd need a lot more time to describe all this to you. Here's another machine that we're actually rebuilding. It's not a stamping die. Some CNC machining, once again, isn't unique to us, but we feel we have the latest technology to stay competitive in the competitive industry that we're in. Here's a metal stamping. I don't think one of these is laying on the table. Nobody decided or told me what you got laying in front of you, so I guess we'll stay here till you figure it out.
Oh my gosh.
Just quick, I just threw this in there. I bought a Chevy Bolt, just a marvelous car, and that's the electric vehicle that Chevy put out that you've heard a little bit about the battery issues on. Just absolutely phenomenal car. You drive the first 40 miles on electricity, and after that, then your gasoline engine kicks in, which actually drives a generator in the car. And I show this because we did build quite a few of the components and the seating structures in this car, so I wanted to say that I had one. One thing I will say on the political side, and I mentioned this to Mr. Skolnick, is that all these charging stations that people talk about putting out and around, I see no value in those at all as an owner of a Bolt. So I know there's one group, and maybe this is the place to say that, but the best place to charge your vehicle is either at home or at work. Anywhere else, I don't see in this state, in 2012, I don't see the value in doing that. Maybe there is that I haven't discovered yet. About $1.30 to charge the car for 40 miles. Interesting technology. Here's some CNC machining that we're doing high speed. Just put a little color graphics into it. This is actually a stamping die that you see right now. This is a product this is kind of our niche, what you see right here. These make the parts that you see on the table. Every one's unique. And that goes in a particular part on a particular car. Interesting here, as you look at this view, this is a view looking down on it. Everything here was designed at Northern Machine Tool as a tool designer who was educated in Muskegon, trained at Muskegon Community College, went through an apprenticeship program at Northern Machine Tool. He had no knowledge of even what we're looking at here when he started out, but is able to draw these very exotic and complex tools today through the apprenticeship process and the training process. So there again, it'd be very difficult for stuff like this to happen at our company and other companies in Muskegon if we didn't have the educational system and directing these people into these type of fields. Which those of us in the tooling area, we're real sensitive, and we always hear about sending kids to college, sending kids to college. We need quality people in the skilled trades. I always use the analogy, you might not know much about dies, but when your furnace stops at home today, it's 11 degrees outside, you call somebody up to come and fix your furnace. Who's going to fix your furnace? Where does that person come from? Probably trained at the skilled training center or somewhere, an apprenticeship program. But if we don't have an educational system to train these people, you might not get that person to your home that night to fix that heat when it's 11 degrees outside. So I might be preaching to the choir, but I think it's a story that needs to be told. Here's a challenge too, economics of the business we're in. We get a job, awarded a job, it takes 4 weeks to design it, we order material, you got a 20-week build time, 2 weeks to try it out, a week for customer approval, ship the tool in 1 week. Economics of the whole thing are, so you have a 23 to 35 weeks from start to finish in building this tool. You don't get a dime until 90 days after the tool's done. So you're talking 40, 45 weeks that you accumulated dollars into a project that you haven't been paid for. So it does take a good relationship with a bank to make it work. On the wall here, this is probably our best sales tool, and if you knew tooling a little bit, all of these, what we call webs hanging on the wall, represent tools that we built, and when you bring the right people into your plant, and they look at this, they have a connection on what you can do from a quality standpoint. Just some pictures within our plant. Tryout presses. There again, we don't run any production, we just try stuff out. More webs on the wall. Like I say, that's probably the best sales tool that we have for customers. Here's my retirement. This is my son Matt. He's a graduate of Grand Valley State. He's got a 4-year business degree in finance and business, and took about 2.5 years of engineering, but I've got him working on the shop floor with me right now, so I can plan my retirement. It's all about people, and why do you put a picture in like this? Because all these three people you see here have all been educated in Muskegon, 2-year associate's degree at Muskegon Community College. The person on the right is finishing his 4-year degree at Muskegon Community College, and they chose to stay in our community because we give them good jobs with good benefits and a good work environment. So we can multiply this throughout our entire company. What we feel good about doing business in Muskegon, as we think about it, we like the 4 seasons. I mean, our business doesn't need to be in Muskegon, but there's positive reasons for being here. The water is a big attraction. Roads, although we hear roads aren't as good, but believe me, when you go to other areas, you do work in the Detroit area, Muskegon roads are not that bad. Muskegon Community College, a huge asset for all of us businesses. Baker College certainly is. Career Tech Center, just an outstanding facility that needs to get used a little bit more by our school systems. Many customers in the area that need our services, and we certainly believe and want to reemphasize, we know manufacturing matters to Muskegon and the state of Michigan. We have an excellent work ethic of employees around here, and we have a wonderful supply base. So those things make it very attractive for doing business in the area. Today's business challenges: once again, too much government. Workforce development, that's a big issue with us again. And I had 2 educators at our company today, and they discussed we need to figure out a way to channel more students into the skilled trades. And if we don't, the 4th item on there is going to become bigger and bigger item for us, which is China, Korea, and India. Those people are just standing in line to take work away from us. Healthcare is an issue which we all struggle with. Having government understand our challenges. Customer loyalty is a big one, and certainly government compliance is an item. This is just, I was in China 3 years ago and built some relationships there, and I'm just going to run through some quick pictures there. In Hong Kong, and then I built relationships with about 5 different tool shops in southern China, and not very innovative people, but they work hard, and it's all. And this is just pictures inside the factory, and I just show this to us, and I show it to other people to know what we're up against in our little world. Here we're a little northern machine, Muskegon, Michigan, with 34 employees, and you got that mass of people in China that are just standing in line to take every bit of work they can away from you. Here's a bunch of tools there's probably 40 tools sitting here on the floor in China. They're all done. And they probably average, in American dollars, each one averages about $150,000. All those tools are going on a boat and coming to this country, or they're going to Canada, and some of them are going to Europe. But it's not, none of this that you're seeing here is used for internal in China. It's all for export. And that's a scary thought when you see that sitting on the floor. And of course there, and I'm just telling you that you already know, but it's just unbelievable air pollution, which we can never get by with here, nor would we want to. This is supposed to be a sunny day in Hong Kong, and it's just terrible air quality. And that's not an unusual sight either. This one, a picture I just took, these Chinese again, so impressed. Here you have 5 Americans coming into this mold shop. And we're kind of standing out from the rest of people from China. These girls don't even look up. It's just focus, focus, focus on their job. And that's what we're dealing with. It's almost like you're dealing with robots. But it's just another type of a business challenge. Right back here, I don't think this would get through any county approved.
Completely safe.
This is, there again, if you've been there and seen pictures, I'm just showing this because we can't do work like this. This is scaffolding. This is how they do their buildings. And every building has its bamboo scaffolding. And you think from a regulation standpoint, we talk about too much government. In some places, they don't have enough to make things safe for their employees. See if I can do this. I'm just about done, Bob, so don't gong me in here. Here's a part, in fact, that part is laying right here in front of you, Alan. The one, keep going, that one. That's all bent up. This is the flat part, okay? Let me see if I can do this. I did this myself, and I'm not very good at it. So this is a software we use. It's forming simulation, and we do this all on the screen. It saves so much time and money, but it's not free. And you can see this part forming. We're doing all this computerized forming of the sheet metal. And if you understand where we came from to where we are today, this is just an unbelievable breakthrough in technology to be able to simulate making this part on the computer and then having it come true in real life. So big cost savings for us. Cost of oil right there. Here's a picture of a die running, and it's the part, the big long part that's laying here somewhere. Bobby, you got it? Yeah, that's called a side member for a seat. Nobody spoke up and said that's what that is.
Yeah,
Somebody said it was an armrest.
I thought it was a snowshoe.
Just do that. There again, I just put this together the other day, so. I don't know if there's any sound, but that's a tool that we built, that side member that Bob has right there, that you can see it actually running and feeding in a stamping press in our plant. You know, I could show a few more minutes, but just amazing technology. Once again, it's all about people. You know, you can have all the tools to assist you in doing this, but it's, you know, it's these quality people that we have in Muskegon County that are willing to be trained and have a passion for doing what we do. So we're doing a lot of things right here, but there's still a lot of market challenges out there that we don't have a lot of control over. Here's a quick one too, and there again, I'm wrapping this up, but it just shows you how productivity, which is that top line that's increased in our country. The downside of all the productivity is unemployment. You know, when you go down like we did in 2002 to 2008, you lay off a bunch of people, you improve your productivity, you don't have opportunities to bring those people back. It's just the nature of the cycle of businesses. And a lot of these jobs that required 2 arms and 2 legs, those have been replaced by robots. And unfortunately, very good people who did those jobs, but there's just not a place for them in our marketplace anymore. Here's an interesting statistic. I don't know if you can even see that, but there's the top line there on about a 45-degree angle. That's our manufacturing leadership in the world. And then you see this blue line that's sweeping up and actually crossed our line, and that's China. So in 2010, China actually became the top manufacturing country in the world, passing the United States. Of course, everybody else is significantly less than what we are. So they're here to stay. You know, it's a scary thought, but it's reality, and you have to make an adjustment for that. Here's one other thing I just point out is if you look here in year 2000, manufacturing employment in Michigan is about 900,000 people, and then we dropped to about 450,000. And the good news there is I think we've turned the tide and employment's coming back up, but it'll never return in my mind to that 900,000 people. So that's it.
Steve, I think we got a few. Jim, did you have a question?
I'm wondering 2 things. Do you have any incentives to have your employees get trained? You help them with tuition
Yes.
if they're successful?
Yes. All of at our company, not every company is the same, Jim, but we paid 100% of the tuition for an apprentice, as long as they obviously satisfactorily completed class. So that's a real good point to bring out about our trade. You can take an 18-year-old, come to Northern Machine Tool. If you're a viable candidate, we'll put you on as an apprentice. We'll pay for your 2 years of going to community college, get your associate degree. It might take 3, might take 4, but that doesn't really matter. And so you're earning the entire time you're going to school, earning a wage. You're not accumulating a 4-year college debt of $140,000 or $150,000. And when you're all done, our people make anywhere from 18 to 29 bucks an hour. So this past year with overtime, we got a lot of people in the 60 to 70 to $80,000 pay rate. So with benefits. But the big problem is human resources, finding those people who want to go into that. We've got our schools are not doing what we consider in business an acceptable job of trying to expose technical trades, not just tool manufacturing, but the electrician or an auto mechanic, or once again the HVAC program. So somehow we have to do that, and we're going to work on that a little bit, trying to get that.
Foreign stuff that went over to China, India, these other places, do you find it's slowly coming back because of quality?
Yes. But so much of it has gone over there, and there's a price differential, although we're closing the gap on that. And their currency exchange is changing and favorable for us. But quality is suspect from over there. I mean, we've had a lot of tools in from China that we didn't build that we've had to fix and repair. When a company writes that initial purchase order, they always look at the price and they say, boy, I can save $30,000 by going to China. When it's all said and done, it might have cost them 30 the other way. So they've had to learn that hard lesson too.
It's very interesting. Last night went to a meeting of MSU Extension, the District 5, and they have a very similar direction, if you will. A lot of that is toward agriculture. So what you're seeing in your piece of the pie is actually in several, and they're now working on trying to have the large universities come to the community colleges and offer specific technical skills, if you will. And there needs to be a partnership to make this happen between, things change so fast or so radically in the industrial side, in all things. It needs to be a much closer tie than it was before. And the discussion last night, also very similar, that it needs to switch the emphasis into middle and high schools to educate the educators to the needs of specific sectors, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's agriculture, whoever. And we need to do it. It's a result of some of the other things we've already done, but to become vibrant again, we need to do that, and we need to begin yesterday.
I think I should mention, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you on the advisory committee at the Career Tech Center?
Yes.
He was recruited back when, you've been on that since the beginning, I think. So they have guys like him who know what is needed.
Well, and that was
hopefully they're
things
taking
to get
your
with
advice.
ISDs. Somehow we need to build a brand new something to make this work, because what we've been doing in the past isn't the best.
Well, some of the blame though is on myself and businesses, because we need to be proactive about pushing educators to get into our facilities. And we haven't. I mean, you're always thinking about something else. It's sometimes low on the totem pole until you have a crisis where you need some employees. And right now, if somebody's a CAD operator, CNC operator, CNC programmer, there's a lot of jobs you can pick from in Muskegon right now. Even if you're not fully trained, these companies will hire you and train you.
Scott, did you hear?
I see you build the tools and you also do stamping work there
No,
too?
no, we have to try them out.
Just try them out. Okay, I thought it was just tooling. But
yeah, I'm not interested in doing that work.
okay, well, it's interesting,
Right.
but thank
But
you.
some places do that, but very few. You have to pick your niche and you go with it. That's not our niche.
Steve, I think
Yes.
Ben's got a question. He's probably the only one here who knew what you were talking about, a lot of this stuff. You operate some.
I got a question. first I want to thank you for providing 34 good paying jobs, and I stress heavily on the good. And I think that's fantastic, and I really like what you said. You're right, you don't have to stay here in Muskegon, but you choose to because we got good quality people, and I think more people should realize that. I mean, I wish they would. And you're right, the tool industry is sort of, everybody says, the dying trade around here, and I'm glad you're providing good jobs for the people here, and I hope you continue, and I hope you last 100 years.
Well, we do too.
So thanks.
All right, is that it? Scott, Steve, thank you. Steve, thank you very much.
Very well. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
If you want to come around and lecture,
nobody wants to guess what they are. And I would offer, if any commissioner would like to visit Northern Machine Tool, I know you're busy people, but I'd absolutely be delighted to take a half hour, an hour, and show you what we do. It is quite fascinating and interesting. And I'm just giving you a short little window of what we do here, but I think a visit we'd certainly welcome.
You know, I had one commissioner, I think, Anthony asked me about sort of stopping in and visiting businesses, which I do sometimes, just stop and ask people to show me what they're doing. And there's Anthony, it's a cool shop. So, okay. The next item is, we've got some time set aside for public comment on an item that's on the agenda. Anybody in the audience would like to discuss an item that's coming up? We'll move on. There was only one item. It's important. The first item for consideration is CDSP 12/01-01. It's to approve the tourism event marketing program, and I think this is something that's been needed. Okay, we have a motion and okay, Mr. Cross. Does anybody need any? Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, what is the intent of this program exactly?
I'm Bob Lukens, Community Development Director. The intent of the program is to attach some criteria to the awarding of funding through the former community, what was it called? The Community Promotions Fund. So this attaches criteria to the program, and is geared towards bringing visitors into the community, into the county. There are a number of parameters of usage of the funding, so that it's just not freely given to festivals or events. The three criteria are advertising and marketing, bid fees, and transportation costs for transportation within the county. Advertising and marketing has some requirements attached to that too. Any advertising produced for a festival or event has to have certain information about the county in it, the logo, the URL that leads to our CVB website, and information about hotels, so that people can call the county or the CVB, or I'm sorry, call the CVB for hotel information. The next one is bid fees, and that's to bring events into the county. So if, for instance, you have a baseball tournament that would want to come into the county, but it was a large tournament that had a bid fee charged to it, you'd be able to provide funding for that bid. And the final one is transportation costs for transportation within Muskegon County, and that would be for events that would need shuttles, for instance, from a hotel to a location, say the arena, if they had to shuttle people back and forth to the arena from hotels. And it is designed to really keep closer track of the funds that are dispersed, and to provide some measurable results for the CVB to track, and to additionally to benefit the county by attaching county branded materials to the event itself and advertising for the event.
This tax is paid by the hotel.
This is through the accommodations tax, yes.
And so when it says like 2,500 people, would that be out-of-town people or local people?
It's geared mainly towards events that are drawing people from out of the immediate Muskegon County area.
So the hotels would take it that this was a program that would help fill the hotels up.
Exactly.
And so it's not really geared toward a local festival, it's toward a...
It's geared towards festivals that would have greater draw to out-of-town visitors. And that's why the advertising and marketing is the main parameter for usage of the funding. So that when funding is awarded, it can be used for advertising outside of the community that will draw people into the county.
Now, when this money is, when someone applies, does this go through a board then?
This goes through the accommodations tax committee, which is comprised of hoteliers, restaurants, attractions, and there is a county commissioner representative. Commissioner Mahone is on the committee too.
And I think that's pretty well what I want to hear.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
My question is on the application, when they come to you, you know, and hopefully request and then hopefully to receive some funds, the application is going to be specific on what the criteria is to receive this, correct? Not just we're having a party and we want to have some money, right?
Exactly. This is the application that you see. I believe it's in your packet.
Yeah, right.
Yes. What they have to do is they fill out a one-page narrative that basically outlines what the festival is or event is. They will, talk about what type of audience they're hoping to attract to it, some of the programs that are happening during the event, that sort of thing. For advertising and marketing use, they have to submit a detailed advertising or marketing plan, an itemized budget that will show what the funding is used for. And then there, I believe, is follow-up too. An itemized budget, a media plan, and then a results form. And the results form is the last page that cites event attendance and the room nights that are booked through the event.
This might be a little off topic, but is anything replacing the summer celebration next year that you're working on?
Yes, actually, I was at a meeting earlier this week about that, and there is a new event that will be announced probably within the next couple weeks in the newspapers. It will run at approximately the same time as the former summer celebration. There's no name for it yet. They had about 75 possible names that they were running through, but it will be a music event. It may be in more than one location in the Muskegon area, the Muskegon County area. It could be it will offer different genres of music, and it will run during the time of the art fair that has happened in the past.
Yes, so this application now will take place of the smaller festivals like Muskegon Heights and Holton and all of those that came last year, and there was quite a lot to do about that. So this is going to discontinue this because I don't, looking at the criteria, they've got to account for 2,500 people or whatever. And those small communities, people come in and they do spend money in the community. But I think that this is a way of eliminating them, and we are not replacing it with anything apparently, just glad to get it out of the way.
Well, no, I wouldn't necessarily say that, Commissioner. I believe that there is a place for this program for smaller festivals too, as long as they target their advertising towards community or towards markets outside of Muskegon County. That's the main gist of tourism marketing, to bring folks from outside the county in, even if it is a local festival, if they're advertising or marketing to, say a mailing list outside of the county, say a community reunion. Sometimes I've seen this in my former position. They would have like a 50-year anniversary of a community, say, and they would have a mailing list of people that would that are former residents that they would want to bring back into the community. And my former CVB made a grant available to a community like that. They had a 50-year anniversary. They targeted people that are former residents of the community, and they sent them applications, these folks applications to come back to the community for the 50th anniversary celebration. And you know, it worked out well for them. But it also resulted in heads and beds too. You know, it put people in the hotels, even though they were here for a more localized festival. So it would be open to them. And there's also in the application, I have the ability for any organizations that are requesting grants, or requesting funding to work with me, the Community Development Director, to make the application work for them. So it's not excluding anyone, really.
Mr. Gonzaga. Oh, Ken, go ahead.
I would also suggest that, you know, what we had talked about on the advisory committees, at some point in time, that our advertising may be able to help these local festivals as well. If we can include them in things that we send out as a convention and visitors bureau.
I have just one point. I didn't notice there used to be a budget for this, and I don't see an amount, you know, some specified amount.
There's not a total budget in this document, but in the county budget, there is $20,000 allotted to community promotions.
Okay, so that would apply to this.
Yes, it would. That involves a couple of other funding items that are funded through that program too. But they're all going towards community promotion. And I could have an answer for you on what all is funded through that $20,000.
I mean, just so it doesn't appear that it's an unlimited, you know, pot is bottomless. It's not. So.
And we can set that. We can set that, or you as commissioners can set that. If you want out of the community promotions budget to allot, you know, $9,000, $12,000, because the limit is $3,000 per grantee. That would be possible too, and that's entirely up to the county commission.
Okay, anybody else? Then it's time to vote. We'll vote. All those in favor of the motion as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next item is old business. Are there any items of old business that anyone would like to bring forward? New business. Anybody have some new business? And now we have time set aside for public comment on a new topic. If there's anyone in the audience that'd like to come up and bring up something new. If not, motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thanks.